what if like the person, at that point you just have to be honest and be like, look, we do our best to hook you up with the best LLMs and the best AIs that are in the industry, right? From Claude to Google to DeepSeek to the latest ones, right? We will do our job to make sure that it's an intelligent system that, like, you also have to give us all your documents that it can use to answer those questions, right? And so once we get there, we also do go through this whole process of like onboarding you, testing it with you, and making sure it's answering the questions properly. And we find the places where during that testing phase where it's breaking, right, where it's not doing something, right?
And that will take 2 to 3 weeks.
That will take 2 to 3 weeks, right? And so we basically say it takes a month for us to onboard you to find out these kinds of things that when, like, if they do happen, and maybe, because we would also do come in and ask different kinds of questions that are random. We'll try to jailbreak it, and we'll also tell it to act and sound like a human. So it's as much as it can. And if the person is like, hey, are you a human or not? We can have it say, hey, I'm an assistant, I help with this. We can say I'm a virtual assistant, because technically it's a virtual assistant. And we can get you set up to have a conversation with one of our sales rep if you want to talk to a real human.
Right, exactly.
Just like that.
Or maybe just like a notification on the owner's phone, like, hey, this person wants a schedule, what is your available time? They could set it up and everything, right?
Right, yeah.
That'd be amazing.
So, like, so the way I'd answer that question is, in a short way, is just saying, hey, we'll actually have the receptionist, the lead qualifier, be able to say, to admit that, hey, I'm a virtual assistant, I'm here to help you, be able to connect you to a salesperson who can answer more of your questions, which is typically a response that any human would come to if somebody said, hey, I want to talk to somebody real, right? Well, let me get you started here on scheduling your call so you can talk to somebody real. Like, even if it's a human or an AI, that's typically the process.
Yeah, I agree. Because people, for example, they like to cheat or like bother AI, and they just tap whatever to see what they're gonna say, and if they're actually the right person.
Right.
But that was my main question.
Okay, good.
It has a solution.
Right, yeah, and the solution is more or less onboarding process, and also making sure that it's a lead qualifier, so we want a human to check that stuff, right? So the goal of it isn't really to finish the sale, it is just to answer the questions until the person is like ready to move forward, and then move them forward. So we just have to have the right documents, the right access to the right information, so that when the LLM, the assistant, is answering those questions, it has all the information it needs about your business to get that person to schedule a call. Because all we would need from that person is a phone number and an email, and then we can send that to you as an email and say, hey, this person wants to meet with you. Or later on we can add some more integrations where you can actually schedule that call on your calendar, right?
Okay.
And that could be an additional cost where we're like, hey, we can have it directly schedule that call on your calendar and send you an email, but that's an add-on, and we want to always phrase it like that because it gives us more revenue streams than like if we just give it to them and say, hey, it does everything, then the future expansions we are just kind of bundling them in for free, or like those are some of the things I want to figure out. And so talking to businesses just will help us understand how to price it properly.
Understood.
Can I continue?
Yeah, of course.
One more questions.
No more questions.
So yeah, that's more or less the target demographic. All right, the core structure. So the core structure of this is really that. Let me see, I have a diagram for this. So we have workspaces, which is spaces in which digital workers do work in. So in those workspaces, we have portfolios. Portfolios can be any product, service, or project that company is working on, right? So we have a workspace where we're working on, let's say, product X, which does this for this business, right? So let's say if it's a solar panel project and their job is that they sell these products, so part of what that lead qualified would do would understand what the specs are, the different offerings, and then kind of answer questions about what solar panels this company sells, and like who's the sales rep who we should let them know that we're going to schedule them a call with, right? So that's the information that we need to have at hand. Resources more or less deals with those things, files, links, that we can have these workflows. Later I'll get into workflows, but we can have basically these digital workers use to be able to answer questions, right? So when I say, hey, we need your documents, we need your links, we need all that information, that goes into resources because those resources can be used in a bunch of workflows, right? And so workflows and digital workers are basically work hand in hand. Workflows are basically a bunch of tasks together, they're chains of tasks. So a workflow can be broken down into a simple task, like, hey, research X and give me links back, or hey, respond to this, customer. That's one task, and then task number 2 is send an email out to the owner to let them know that we have scheduled this call with them, right? So it's just a flow of work that has to be accomplished for us to achieve something. Your question? Okay. So digital workers are just basically, typically they're known as AI agents. We call them digital workers because their job is to do digital work, and I think that makes it, that terminology is a lot better than just saying agents, because agents, everybody has heard agents. But if you say digital worker, it does digital work similar to how a virtual assistant would do digital work. And so this is gonna affect the virtual assistants market, because we are automating things that virtual assistants do, but we also support freelancers, so virtual assistants can use this to help their current clients be able to optimize their workflows a lot better. So I'm not just cannibalizing their market; they can use the same thing to help their customers and clients be able to, automate other, virtual assistants out of work. Anyways,
I agree.
so let me. Any questions so far?
No, everything's pretty much clear. I'm familiar with everything you just said.
Okay, good. So this is not really important. This just kind of talks about how I wanted to just use voice. So I don't want, like, when you're interacting with the system, so this is the back end. This is more of like using the system rather than who's the system for, how should you think about the system. The reason actually, to go back here, the reason I actually went through this is to explain that we can have multiple workflows. So if we get a business to sign a contract with us and we do a lead qualify with them, we can get them to sign another contract with us where we generate and post content on their social media, or generate blog posts for them, or we can have multiple workflows that are dependent on what they want to offer that connect into other applications, right? So if you think about it, the current workflow is like lead qualifier. We can add a workflow on top of that that adds that qualified lead to their Salesforce, right? And so that's a different workflow which they have to pay for. And so that pricing, I haven't completely thought about it, because the more that they're adding workflows, how do I price each of them, right? So now am I bundling workflows and saying, hey, are they paying per workflow? Currently right now, the way we have the model is you pay per workflow, right? So you pay for a setup, and then you pay us to continuously support you for X amount of months, continuously, right? There might be some people who come in and say, hey, let's do a commission-based thing, so that when they qualify a lead and we get the lead and we close it, you get a certain commission plan, right? So, that's a different deal structure compared to, so it's not your typical ChatGPT subscription. Maybe we'll get there in the future, but in the present, we can make more money from supporting fewer businesses and giving them this bespoke solution where we're like, hey, so we know that you're qualifying leads, we're a month in, you're liking our service so far. Would you want us to be able to have those qualified leads end up to your Salesforce CRM? And they'd be like, well, you could do that? Yeah, we could do that. The reason we could do that is because I've set up the infrastructure to add more workflows easier. And for us, it's actually I'll show you how this works. You just talk to it and it will generate that workflow and add it to that business. So it's not that we have to spend more time building the workflows. We can just, I'll tweak it and I'll test that workflow before we offer it and present it. But what I'm really trying to say here is that our revenue stream isn't just going to be based on, we're going to start off with receptionists and lead qualifier and that kind of stuff, because it immediately shows the business something working for them that is helping them either generate more leads, or going back and looking at the conversations they had and bringing those people on as qualified leads. Maybe because if we have an influencer or a company that has about 100 messages per day, they're not getting to all those 100 messages per day, so we tackle the other messages they don't get to find the leads that they're missing, which is why they would want to work with us, because it means that they're making sure that they're not leaving money on the table. And so when you talk to anybody and you say that, they're going to be like, okay, well, it doesn't hurt. I'm already losing money on the table. If I pay you guys to find that money from those DMs, from those people trying to learn about our product, and you can be able to actually qualify them and put them into my CRM and get my sales team to call them and we close them, that's more money. That means that I make money I spent on you. And that's how we want to phrase it. Because if they think like that, that allows us to actually be able to close that deal a lot quicker and a lot better. And so that's why I kind of went through this, because I wanted to explain we can expand workflows. Like I get a bunch of like requests for specific things. So let me kind of show you an example here. And let me know if I'm talking too fast or if you have questions.
No. Okay. You explain it good. So.
Okay, I'm trying. So let's see. Okay, so here's an example of like somebody who's like, hey, I have a bun. Oh yeah, right. I'll zoom in. Do you wear glasses?
Yeah, but I moved at home, and I actually need to get a new
Pair.
because I'm still like more blind than I was. Yeah, thank you.
There you go. Is that good? Or you want me to zoom in more?
Not that much. I mean,
Okay, I just don't know how blind you are. You didn't give me a scale. You didn't say,
oh, it's okay.
75% blind on my left eye, 82% on my left eye. So you know.
Say 30, 20 something.
It's okay. I'm joking. I'm fucking with you. So this is an example of somebody who compiled a bunch of different use cases that they want me to help them support and build, right?
Okay.
So this, for example, is a research project that they want me to build basically a workflow and an assistant for them to automate researching blockchain projects, right? So they want to be able to like find new blockchain projects, new meme coins, and have a report generated, and have the user kind of talk to that report. So that's what this is, right? So this would be a workflow, a research workflow, but it would be focused on crypto that we would sell to them as a service, right?
Gotcha.
And so we can expand those things. So I start off with like core things, right? Like receptionists, like social media interaction is typically what I call it. That's a core functionality that most businesses need. The next one is like researching information. So here's another example. So this is another client of theirs who basically wants a bot, an agent who can be able to research. So basically an example is like, show me 3-bedroom homes in Los Angeles that are for sale at this price, right? And so it would like go through these APIs, and then it would like scrape them, and then it would get that information, and then it would put it into a report and then send it to them, right? So they want that consistently because they want to be able to close deals that show them, hey, here's this report that says this house is something you can buy and turn it into an Airbnb and make money from, right? And so they manually have to do that. And so all of these are just like, they're people asking me to build things, but they're related somehow. They're related because they're research, right? And so I can build a research solution, a research workflow, and sell it to each of them because I'm just specializing it and niching it down to them. And so we make more money by being able to be really good at identifying what the business need is and thinking about, okay, do we have anything that, because you can actually see here, like here you'll see that I have social autos, so we just put like the social media agents and stuff, and then here is the research stuff, right? So I haven't started doing the research stuff, I started it, but I had to fix some things. And so these are the two quote unquote big things that I want us to be able to identify some businesses that need this. So, for example, each of these, those are not businesses, those are more entrepreneurs, people with money who are like, I'd like you to set this up for me so I can get reports and save time and money, right?
Right.
And so, when we're thinking about we'll go to market probably with just the receptionist, and then we'll subcategorize the receptionist to lead qualifier. We'll maybe add a DM, social media manager for influencers and stuff like that, right? But once we finish that, then research or these businesses will come and say, can you do this more? And more or less because businesses will want you to automate more. So if we do, for example, a social media, if we do a WhatsApp integration to just kind of help them schedule things, the next thing is adding those people to our CRM. It is the next logical thing to do because they're like, okay, can you put that can you put that information for me into a CRM instead of me getting it as an email? We're going to be like, yeah, we'll just cost you this much extra per month, right? The cost for that, we want to kind of keep it low. We want to say it'll be $1 to $3. So they're not going to think too hard about it. But if you have If you have a bunch of $1, $2, $3 workflows that are added to existing workflows, it means you're making more money from the things that you've already set up. And we only have to set that up once, so we only have to set up a workflow for adding these leads to a CRM once. Because once I build it, we can then resell that to all the other businesses that have the lead generator. Because we need just one business to say yes and pay for it, and then we go to the other businesses and we increase the price, but we also kind of like say, hey, would you like us to set this up for you, right? We just finished creating this new feature. We wanted to see if your business is interested in us expanding that, and they will go talk to other businesses and be like, oh, yo, I just set this thing up, it's closing sales, we're getting more leads, we're qualifying them, and so that's kind of what I'm thinking about with this. So let me know what your thoughts are, your right demo, questions, various things like that.
Yeah.
Let me log in and I can show you that. So yeah, I think I finished that part. This is just how to interact with it. So I guess the purpose is like, we want to, make the time your business spends in generating like value for its customers be more efficient. We want to allocate and organize resources a lot better, from people's time to basically all the resources in terms of all the documentation that you have, and having that be available for your customers to have. Like, basically, we need those resources to be able to have the LLM understand the customer's needs better, while coupling that with its understanding of your business, so that it can offer your business a lot better solutions. And so, collaboration between humans and AI is really where we're going to kind of move into. I'm refining this. I think this could be a lot better. And then, we want to focus on just increasing your leads and how much money you make from being able to actually make sure you're not leaving money on the table. The other thing here, this is more for like later, but it's like, when you hear people talk about Zapier, Make, and add-ons, those are really complex automation solutions like ManyChat. You need an expert at ManyChat to be able to set up the flows properly and everything like that. And everybody doesn't have that expertise or the time or the money to be able to find experts to help them with automation. So what we're building is really that your ability to just talk to the system and have the system build these automation workflows for you is going to bridge the gap between that. Obviously, that removes a lot of like market share from the experts, and you can still go to the experts for highly complex automation workflows, but for the simpler ones that we offer, you can easily just kind of, bring your business into it, log into it, and then we can start setting this up for you, which shortens the amount of time that you have to go through in bringing automation into your business. You also don't have to interview, hire, and worry if this person is going to do a good job. For the current businesses we'll probably work with for the next few months, it will take some time, it will take 3 months, but for a typical business that comes into our platform, like what the experience will be is like this, where they log in and they'll pick the pages that is connected to their Facebook business. I will make it bigger.
No, I'm fine. No, thank you.
You started squinting.
Guilty.
So here, you can see that, okay, this is Facebook login, like to get access to all of those accounts. And so here, these are all the Instagrams that are connected to my Facebook account. And so you can see how we're getting access to all those platforms, which allows us to then deploy those like receptionists, lead qualifiers, like to those platforms automatically without the person. Like the only one which we actually need to have a bit more integration would be WhatsApp, because WhatsApp needs a phone number. And so they have to bring in a WhatsApp phone number. I can build an integration where we can offer them a number, but that's extra because like we'll pay for that phone number, and that will make us giving them a phone number makes the flow a lot better, so that they don't have to go out there, find a new number, and do everything like that. Questions? No?
I'm imagining like huge business with this, but like you can make packages, like
Right.
explaining to everything that you're explaining, but in like a little proposal or presentation that
Right.
they can be aware of, like what they're facing and
Right.
what is the solution for all of the
Right.
problems.
Yeah, because we want to answer those questions that they have before they have them or as they have them, so that not only do we look more professional, but it also means that we close the sale quicker before they start, before we have to go back and forth on answering those questions, right? And so for each of those conversations, is like, hey, you know, and I can make a demo video just kind of demonstrating this and being like, hey, here's how you like do this. So here's, you know, WhatsApp accounts. So you can see that I have all these WhatsApp accounts connected, and so this is why it's easier. It's like ManyChat still has this feature where you can log in and they can access your accounts.
Yeah.
You know, for our side, we do the same thing, but the difference is that you don't need a ManyChat expert to go in there and set up the workflows, and then you hire a virtual assistant to then go in and start answering those questions, or use the ManyChat workflows to add an AI to, like, you don't have to worry about that. You just come in here, you log in, and then this is kind of what I was saying, like later on it will be easy as self-serve. So I have to solve whatever this is, because it was working, and then I was like,
No worries. While you solve that gap, I'll be right back.
yeah, do your thing. Feel at home.
Thank you.